There we go. Let's get started. This is James Middick speaking. I've got something cool for you today, and it's especially interesting for people who are just starting out with their first online course, or they're thinking about a training site and they want to get started, but they don't want all the technical hassles. Not only do they not want the technical hassles, they just don't have the time to build their own campus, their own training site. So they're going to rent some space. And if you haven't heard me talk about that before, there's kind of a difference with your business model between renting a training site or building a training site. They both allow you to sell your courses, but it's two different approaches on it. The one that we're doing today is a kind of rental training site, and it's because it is a software as a service that you can use, which are especially helpful if you're just starting out and maybe you only have one or two courses. You want to find out how it really works. You're not ready to make that huge investment in your own training site, but you just want to kind of see what happens. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over a tool today called Esmerize. And as always, I'll put the links below so that you have them. Any of the resources that I mentioned get there. And I'd love for you to like and subscribe to the channel, and always visit trainingsites.io. If you want to take any of our courses, or you just want all of this done for you, irrespective if it's on your own training site or a rented training site, we're here to help you start, build, and grow your education business. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over a couple pieces on remembering what's actually involved in having a training site and what you need to do that. And then more importantly, we'll take a look and we'll log in at a trial account at this tool called Esmerize and show you what happens and how to get started. So here's the big thing to think about as you're getting started in all of this is that when you're first starting out, and especially for a beginner, there's a number of technical challenges, right, that you have to deal with. And I'm talking about things like even learning how to use software that's like managing your website. Like almost 50% of the population of websites are built on the WordPress hosted, owned kind of setup. But at the end of the day, you have to learn how to use WordPress. And if you're going to be doing training on your own training site or campus, it takes a little bit of technical know-how, or at least access to that technical know-how, which can cost some money. The other thing is the content. We've covered on this channel before a whole bunch of ways to create content. I did one on the 4 different kinds of prompts for online courses. I gave you, I think 60 prompts was one of the ones last week that we did to build your content out. But having that uncertainty of what is content and how it works into content, you want to do some trial and error and see what works best for you. What's the appropriate way of doing things? The other thing is often when you're starting is you don't really know what the heck's going to go on. Is it actually going to sell? Do I have a good idea for a course? Is it something that is worthwhile that I should spend my time, energy, and effort in? Is it something that I'm doing but maybe not answering the questions or solving the problems that the people that I'm trying to help are doing? So these are all things that you have to kind of think about as you're moving forward, and ones that you want to be especially sure of before, again, you invest a whole bunch of time or money. Just want to make sure the other thing is that when you get into this, is remember that you're starting out. You may not be comfortable in front of the camera. You still may not like the way your voice sounds. You may have don't have access to all the technical materials that you need. So it would be nice to have something that's easy to get started. So those are kind of the background of it for getting started. The thing that's next is you're probably going, okay, well, what is it about a course, and what is it that's actually involved in the course? What do I need to have in the course to do this? So let's take a look here, and we'll do this one here. I'll open up my video pencil, see if we can keep some notes here just as we're going through, and I'll write these down. And of course, if there's an issue with my video pencil, let me know and we'll go from there. But we talked a little bit at the start. We're talking about using the AI tools to have the course content. Let's just make sure we're in the right pencil there. So we've got course content. And that's all about the stuff that we did with AI, right? So we've used ChatGPT, we've used Claude, we've built out a syllabus, we've got our lessons, we've got all of our courses and actually done. The other thing we may have learned how to do is, using AI tools to create the scripts, is we may have created some course videos. So we've got some course videos are there. We're all set up with the videos. We've got the text that we put together with AI. We may have done some faceless videos that we've used some of the tools with, or just captured stuff, on a smartphone in front of us. We may have got a little bit of a kit set up, but we've got some videos there for the courses. And after that, you're probably thinking, okay, now I need a platform. I need my training site for it. I need a place to put my platform. So it's really the LMS, the learning management system, where all of this course content goes. This is where the tool like Esmerize comes in, and it's really important for beginners because it is a place or a service, software as a service, that allows you to quickly be able to take the content that you've created with these AI tools and put it into an easy to use platform that does all of the important things that are involved in a training site. And remember, it's one thing to sell a course. It's another thing to have a training and education business, be a edupreneur if you want to call it, because you need a campus or a training site to do that. And what's the difference between selling a course and having a training site? Well, there's a number of things, and here's some of them just to kind of think of as you're moving forward. So one of the things is you want to be able to, my screen just died here, so let's bring it up again. We just timed out. So, okay, I'm back here. Let's see, there we go, back on the platform. So the other thing is when you have these courses, you want to make sure you've got that content. The other pieces you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a place for discussions. And let's try it, discussions. So you have to have a place where if there are questions from the students, from the learners, they're in a spot where they can go and ask a question for clarification. They can go and ask and say, is this something that, in this situation, should I do that? But it's about clarification of a particular lesson. So you've got to have some facility to allow that. That's one thing that's different on a training set than just a content dump. The other thing you want to do is not only on discussions, you want to have live chat. So we'll just cross out the I because it did it. And let's try it again. We'll do live chat. There we go. So we got live chat. This is one where you, the instructor, you, the expert, are available at times or online in terms of messaging, being able to answer the questions that, again, your students have about the content that you've created. That's in a training site. That's not in a course dump. Okay? So course to training site, education to knowledge base. You want to have something like live chat. The other thing is you want to be able to have course rules. Now, what do I mean by that? Things like course rules are, if someone is going to take your course content, can they take the courses in the lesson order that they want? Can they go from lesson 1 to lesson 4 to lesson 2 to lesson 8? Or do they have to take it in order? The other thing you want to be able to control as the instructor, the teacher, is you want to be in a position where you can say, hey, you know what? You have to take these in order. And when you're doing the ordering, you've got to be able to pass quizzes. So you want to have quizzes, and the quizzes can be a whole bunch of different types. And you want to make sure that the person has understood what it is that you're teaching, but more importantly, you don't allow them to go on to the next lesson or next step without passing those particular types of quizzes. So those are some of the things you'll find, quizzes, kind of access rules. The other ones that are interesting, and at least I don't want to do this one. Let's do that one. Don't want to do blue. Let's try this. Okay, so the other one that you might want to think of here is you're going, okay, great, I've got my access rules for my courses, and I just skimmed over them, of course, there. But there's that whole issue of gamification, right? And you want to make sure that's engaging, is that any of the content that you create and the platform that you use allows for engagement. So it allows you to engage in the students to engage in the particular site. And these are things like gamifications or assigning points to completing quizzes, completing courses, and maybe cashing in those kind of rewards and giving them some space for that. They may lead to things like certification. So if someone does complete something, you can provide them with a certificate of completion. Other things that you need to do when you're in a training site is you have to look and say, How am I going to market my particular course? Does it have email marketing that goes out? Can I do social media that helps me to promote it? What about the fact that I already have an existing business and I got some pieces I've got to add to it, right? If I have an existing business, how am I going to take my new training site or platform? How am I going to make sure it gets connected to my ActiveCampaign email marketing account or my MailChimp subscriber list or any of the other tools that are external? And the other thing is you want to look, when you're looking at promoting, one of the other things you might want to consider is, do I have access to other people's traffic by using affiliates? So do I have an affiliate system that allows me to take care of this? And again, more importantly, you want to make sure that your course has sales pages. And sales pages are where you sell your course and sell access to your particular campus or training site. So having said that, where do we go from that? Not about just the course and the AA topics. We have to make sure we have some kind of platform to sell it on, and that is the training site or the campus that we have. You have two choices. One is you build your own, like WordPress, and own that content, own all of that system. Or the other hand is you take it and you say, look, I want to use some software as a service, and I want to basically rent space on that particular platform and use that platform. The reason you want to do that, especially if you're a beginner, is a lot of the times when you're starting out, it's just a lot easier to do it when you're using it as a software, as a service like Esmerize. So let's take a look at that, see how that particular piece works. And here's an example of training sites where this is one that's all hosted on ours. We use LearnDash, for example, and a number of other tools to create our training site. But for a simple one, you might want to look at this. And again, I put the links in below. This one's called Esmerize, and I believe it's from Europe. And the reason is when I looked at all the developers and about them, they're all from overseas, from Europe. And also, I noticed that the languages, they have it in Spanish, and I'll just move a screen over here. They've got it in Spanish and Italian and English, and we've got the Union Jack there. So no Canadian flag, no US flag for English. It's Britain, UK for the English language ones. So Esmerize is a very, very easy to use, simple system that does all of the things that I just talked about. It allows us to take the content that we've already created with Claude, with ChatGPT, in the syllabus that we've created, with the quiz questions we've created, but it's a simple system where you can just upload it and get started while you're doing it. They have a free trial to do, and I'll log in and we'll do a little bit of a free trial here. But this one's kind of nice because I think when I looked at it originally, I think it's more designed for mobile devices than it is for the desktop. And in fact, they do have a mobile app that's available. Now, why is this important? If you are selling particular course content that is highly consumable on a mobile device, this would probably be a really good fit for you. If you're required to have something that has or requires a lot of screen real estate, whether that be something that's live training in a particular facility or doing something physical, as opposed to a talking heads or slide deck one, this one might be an easy one for you to use. Now, there's two things on this site you might want to look at. The first one is the way that their pricing or their page is set up is that these links are all actually on one page, except for this one here, video guide. And this one is a 23-minute one, and they've actually got all of the different pieces that are here. You can see my mouse moving. So community features, upsell, cross-sells, coupons, mobile app, pages, website. This is an all-in-one thing just for your training site. So let's do this. I'm going to start a free trial. We'll sign up for that and see what happens and go from there. And let's see what happens. So I'm going to start a free trial. And where's it opening up? Let's go back to the main page and see if I can get one. I actually logged on. There we go. Okay, so let's use an email. We'll use that one. First name, last name. And we'll use a test password for now. Put that one in, and I've got my password. Let's start a free trial, see what happens. Okay, Academy name. Call it Teach Online. And you can give it an Academy name, which is separate from the URL. By default, it uses their URL with your link. Again, I think they have a premium version that allows you to have it your own private domain, but we can put in our colors here. And do I have my colors handy? Let's just go and take a look here on. Just going to go into my documents on my website, and I think on this one, do we have the... Not sure on this one. Let's open it up and see. There's my font color. So let's do my dark blue here. Make sure we're not using too many number signs there. There we go. And an image. Let's see if we got a... Don't know if I have an image right away, but don't know if I have one here right off the top of my head. So we'll do that one later. Just click enter. So we're building out a little bit of our campus, our walkthrough, and you can see that we've got some confetti falling because it looks like we've done something right. We've got a 10-day trial, academies. Let's go see what happens there. There's the one that I have. So you can have multiple ones if you want. I've just got one. And here we go. So forum, a leaderboard for the gamification that I talked about, being able to give rewards for people based on their activities, like logging in, completing lessons, or completing a course. You can also set up the rewards so that if you do, for example, want to give a private coaching session to people who earn a certain number of points in the way that you've got it set up. And on this one, what else do we have? We got the trial where we can change some of our names in different pieces. Manage payments. Let's go and see what happens at the home page again. So let's add a module. So in many of the cases of the LearnDash or Lifter LMS or Tutor LMS, the WordPress-based learning management systems, they have a 3-tier content system where you have the choice between putting, here's my main lesson. That lesson may have a module, and some of those modules may have topics. So you have a couple different levels that you can use the content based on how complex it is and what you need to get across in particular sections. Now, this isn't overly important if your course or mini course or micro course only has 5 lessons or 6 lessons. However, if you're doing a mastery program where you have a big amount of content to share in different categories, you may break it into sections, for example, and you may end up with 30 lessons or 40 lessons. So having those additional ones or levels gives you some option here. So organizes folders called modules. You can sell separately or in bundles of multiple modules. So it looks like they're calling a module a course, and insert a course into one or more modules or bundles. And they've got a video guide for it here. So you can look at that one. These are the steps. This is a guided checklist. And then we've got the content. Same thing. Module, click content. See what's going on there. Enable payment. So the ability to actually get paid for your content. And the reason you want to do this, of course, is that if you don't have your own website, you don't have your own billing system, this billing system is built into it so that you can make and set up payments for it on the fly. So you're going to enable them. And the way that they actually set this up is that the billing is going through them, and they're going to take a little bit of a percentage on it. First product, landing page, and then chat. So that's the stuff that's available for us. Let's go and let me see if we can get started here. Let's go and create the first product. Creator, there we go. So let's go and see. So I'm just going to click the creator bar here, or creator menu. Let's see what happens. There's affiliate marketing I talked about. It's in the little higher margin, paid one, certificates, automatic invoices, English. There we go. Okay. Products and coupons. So where's one that we want to start? So how do we start a course? Where's the course? See, here's one here. Add a new module. Let's try that. Okay. So we can put in module 1. And again, this is where you have the content that hopefully you've created on ChatGPT or Claude. You put this in and you put the remember, it's talking about the rules and how the rules are set up. This one says unlock content one after another. So we want to make sure that people take lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, make it available to all users. So there's a schedule of it, payment module. And payment module gives you some additional different ones to set up. And what I mean by modules are things like bundles and subscriptions are in some of the paid ones. Time module lock. So this one will be on how long it's open for people, days from first login of the Academy. So if you have lesson 1 and you want lesson 2 available the next day or the next week, this is where you would be able to set up the time schedule for it. So for example, weekly would be 7 days. Upsell, cross-sell, we don't need any of that. And let's save it. Let's see if we got a save here. Field image is required, so let's choose an image. Let's do one, and we'll just open one here, see if I've got one. There's one here. Let's do one that I did up for this particular YouTube video. And you can see that there's some sizing here. We got to figure out what the sizing is, but I'll save it and see what happens. So there we go, first module. And let's take a look and see what's inside. It's module, there's where it is. I want to add some new content. Here's my choice where I can add some new content. Do I want to put an article, a quiz, or a video in? And sub-modules, remember I was talking about having the lessons and the topics. The paid and pro one allows you one. So again, this is for beginners, simples, being able to, simple courses, being able to have it set out. But if I want to go and put an article in, I can put in and go. I can do the first lesson from ChatGPT, and I can call it module 1 or introduction, for example, or the one that it's associated with. Available to everyone. Comments are enabled, and advanced. What happens when it's completed? Don't have that, but I need to add a block. So this is the editor for adding the content. It's not like WordPress or a regular word processor. We've got to put in and say, okay, we need a heading. And we can go in, put in to the module or lesson. Let's call it lesson. And then I can go and add any of the content that I want, whether it be paragraphs or another heading. I'll get rid of this one. Looks pretty straightforward here. And if we want to, we can put in an image. And this one's kind of interesting, at least from my perspective, is when you're doing these, a lot of times when you're doing it, when you have your own website or your own training site, is you have the ability or the flexibility to be able to have, hey, here's a lesson that has images, text, videos, tables, all sorts of stuff. So it looks like the way they've got it set up here is the free version does not include that facility, but if you get the paid version, you would be able to do that. And we can put attachments here. So if you have course materials, that kind of thing, they would be available. And there we've got our first lesson and our first kind of setup here. And there we go. So you'd be able to build these out and get these going. Now, I'm not going to go into the entire thing here. The point that I want you to get and kind of think in the back of your head is that you're in a position here where if you've done your research, you've got some content on whatever it happens to be, whether it's on how to play guitar or how to use a piece of software, where you have some videos, you have some content, how to do things like garden, how to do things like hang drapes, how to do things like refinish this. Any of the things that you want to sell as a course, whether it be a personal hobby or a corporate kind of thing where you're trying to train employees, or you have a specific task that you want to be able to train people, and you need some kind of platform to host all of that and make it easy to manage, this is a kind of tool that you might want to consider. The important reason is this is just not for courses. If you spend the time to look at things like doing rewards and gamification by adding points, structuring the content that you put out, you're going to be in a position where you actually have a full package of education for people, not just a content dump, which is a real exciting part. Now, this one, I'm going to put the links and stuff below. Just open a free account, play around with it, see if it's for you. And when you look at this, just kind of end off with thinking about what are the pros and cons for this for me. So if I'm looking at this and I'm trying to figure out, and okay, I go, okay, great, what do I do with this? And I'm looking at the pros and the cons of this. If I look at it from the pros, let's see if I can get that to work. Pros. Come on, let's try this again. Pros. One more time. Pros. There we go. So we've got some pros and some cons. There we go. I'm mucking around with this one. Let's try this again. Cons. There we go. We got pros and cons. So the pros and cons of this are, here's a situation where if you're beginning out and you're okay putting your content on another platform, but having that platform do everything for you, it's going to keep things really, really simple. And when things are simple, it gives you a lot less hassle. Let's write this one out. So there's no hassles in terms of getting your content up. When it's simple and easy, I'm going to stop using that. We'll go back to this. When it's simple, it stops you from making mistakes. It can save you a whole bunch of money up front. And more importantly, it allows you to use your time wisely. Because anytime that you're creating a training site, if you are not specifically ready and have a proven course and content that you know is something that is going to work and build your business, testing things out is far easier on a system than this to find out what works and what doesn't work, and what more importantly fits into your business. So these can be very quick, easy to get going, inexpensive, and more importantly, it's an all-in-one system. And this one I do like because it's more than the course. It is all of the stuff, rewards, affiliates, taking payments, everything here is in one place. Now, on the other hand, if you're thinking, okay, great, what do I do if my business already has existing streams of revenue? Maybe I'm using another system for doing my billing already. Maybe I have another area of a membership site and I'm just adding courses. Anytime you're using these kind of services, they do make it very, very easy and quick and inexpensive to use, but what you do lose out on is flexibility. So you have to kind of decide, where am I in my business, my education business, my training business? Do I want to build my own campus? Do I want to take my courses and build a training site that's part of my business? These are kind of decisions that you're going to have to make. The reason I showed this one to you today, and the reason why I think it's important, is because when you are getting started and you don't have a lot of technical expertise and you just want to get something done quickly and test, go open an account here, go put some content up that you created with ChatGPT or Claude or any of the other tools that you put together, or your own content if you have it, but get that up there and start playing around and see what happens. See what works, see what doesn't work it, see what you get feedback on, see what you don't get feedback on. See if you can sign up affiliates to get people to help you promote it. See if you can connect it to your existing email system so that you can do broadcasts and automations based on the fact that, hey, you got a brand new course that you want to go out and sell and market. All of this stuff that comes to training and building an education business, in as much as you may get told that everything's easy and all you have to do is publish something and all of a sudden everyone's going to buy it and pay you money, not the case at all. So don't fool yourself. It takes work, energy, and effort. And having a training site with an education business and good content that answers the questions that your market has, shows people how to do it, and provides them with that promised outcome, That's the part that makes your business grow and helps your customers and builds your community. So, hope you enjoyed this session. Like and subscribe to the channel. Visit trainingsites.io, where we're adding all of this new AI content to some of the older courses. And more importantly, you can go to trainingsites.io/talk. You can book 30 minutes with me. Tell me about your business, what you're doing. I'd love to find out and let you give you some suggestions and let you know how we can help, either by sending it to the right course, ours or someone else's, or more importantly, if you just want all of this done for you, whether it's on your own training site or a service like this, we'd love to do that work for you. And we're available at least to talk and chat with. So hope you enjoyed this. My name's James Maduke. We're from trainingsites.io. Take care, expect the best, and we're here to help you start, build, and grow your education business.